Tell you that earlier today, big goings on in D.C. The House passed multiple bills attacking the Iran nuclear deal. Now, this, of course, involves warning against rolling back economic sanctions imposed on Tehran. The House voted against approving the Iran deal, 269 to 162, with 25 Democrats joining Republicans. It's pretty obvious that these votes were very much sort of ceremonial, as yesterday the Senate failed to move a measure disapproving the Iran nuclear agreement to a final vote. Looks like it is going through, whether people like it or not. So the Iran deal is something all the 2016 candidates have weighed in on. It is a very hot button topic here, but today we're getting new Iowa polls, and they involve every message that any of these candidates is sending, and it still shows Donald Trump is firmly in the lead. But what about the former frontrunners? And we know it's early in the season for elections, but one of the top frontrunners in Iowa is now getting absolutely clobbered. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has dropped 15 points in just the last 2 months. He led the pack back in July with 18%. Now Scott Walker is at just 3%. What happened here? Well, let's bring in the experts. Ellis Henican is a Fox political contributor and Newsday columnist. We've got Cheri Jacobus. She's a GOP strategist. Cheri, what happened to Scott Walker? Is it that he's not out there enough, or is Donald Trump so loud that he can't make the move?
Well, I think the Trump factor, this is the summer of Trump. We heard a lot about Walker leading up to the primaries really getting started. Everybody was looking at him. He did so well in his home state of Wisconsin. He survived very well the recall effort and really shamed the left on that one. But, he may have peaked too soon. I think it actually might be strategic on his part to go dark a little bit, let Trump have his, clown show this summer. And then, look, Walker is not falling behind because he made a mistake, did something wrong. He just kind of disappears. So if you look back, 2007, the big names that were leading in the Republican primary polls were Fred Thompson, Rudy Giuliani. Neither of them became the nominee, let alone president. So Scott Walker might be pacing himself, knowing that he has time to rise again. Again, he didn't make any big mistakes. It simply is the Trump factor. So he's waiting for that to burn out a little bit, which I believe it will. And I think that we'll hear more good news from Scott Walker.
You may be right about keeping the powder dry and not wasting your money that you have at such an early stage. But Ellis, Scott Walker's made no policy announcements, and it's hard to hear him above the din that has become a very, very loud sort of screaming match with a lot of these candidates also, on the Democratic side as well. So who jumps out at you, Ellis, right now?
Well, let me say this, Ellis. I've never heard of a candidate who personally wanted to go down to 3% in the polls when he used to be up in the mid-teens. He may be making the best of a bad situation. But all of it, honestly, and it's true not just of Scott Walker, but they all seem kind of faint, don't they, in the summer of Trump? It's like an old doo-wop band. It's like Donald in the Shadows, right? Who can pay attention to any of them? It really is the year, at least the part of the year, where the non-traditional candidates are connecting with the voters, and anyone who has a title next to his name is, down in the low single digits. It's very frustrating for these guys.
I would like to just note one thing. There's a poll that shows when you put these candidates head-to-head against Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is third. He's tied with her, but you have a non-establishment candidate, Ben Carson, who tops, who beats her the most, the hardest. And next is Jeb Bush, who is considered the establishment candidate. He beats Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump does not. So I'm not sure we really have an answer what all of this means. Donald Trump is getting as much, if not more, media attention, media coverage than all of the other candidates combined. That will change, and that will also change the dynamic. So at this stage in the game, I'm not sure we should be taking any of this too seriously, frankly.
Okay, Ellis, look, can't ignore Bernie Sanders. He has gained on Hillary Clinton. He's not necessarily leading, but in certain polls, he's doing very well. New Hampshire, Iowa, Bernie Sanders' head is popping up here. Warren Buffett said the other day, I like some of the things he says, but there is no way I could vote for him. Do you think that eventually comes to pass?
Well, I think he never will get the Warren Buffett vote, if that's what you're asking. But let me tell you, he's sending some shivers through Hillary land, right? I mean, again, candidates don't like to be behind or to be close in polls at this point, and Hillary is not doing well in the first two early states. It's discouraging and concerning. And you know what it says, too? It says, run, Joe, run. It leans on Biden and says, hey, man, maybe you could do this.
Joe Biden, watch out for that. We don't know, but we do know this, that he has to work at two forces, his heart and his head. He cares very much his family, and needless to say, he suffered a terrible tragedy. Listen, we've got to run, but Ellis, Cheri, please come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.